Welcome to Recruit Like You Sell, hosted by the author of The Unicorn Path and the world's most passionate advocate for enhancing employee productivity. Here is your guide, coach, founder, and host, Bart Dunne.
Let's talk a little bit about the interview process. Or actually, even before that, let's talk about the follow-up process. I've been involved in several circumstances as an applicant and an interviewer where you get a big pile of resumes, you let them get to a certain thickness before you get started on the process, and then you kind of look through them and you look through them and you look through them and you look for keywords. I mean, there's computers doing keyword stuff and all that. And then a couple of weeks later, we call the people and we schedule them. Go, hey, are you available for an interview? If we sold that way, we'd be out of business. If we got a lead and say, okay, well, I'm going to wait till I get 50 leads, and then I'm going to make incredible assumptions based on limited information from a piece of paper submitted about what clients qualified and what clients didn't, most businesses are going to close. Treat every resume, every shred of knowledge you've got about somebody as if it's going to be a gift, somebody that's going to be exceptional to elevate your company, either with skills and great attitude or just great attitude. They'll be the people that will lift you up and make your life better and happier. And with that kind of a spirit, you've got to move fast. Ideally, what I aspire to and the companies we work with, we want them to aspire to, 5 minutes. You get a resume, even at 9 or 10 o'clock, it's a goal. Call them back in 5 minutes. And call them back like they're your friend. Call them back like they're going to be special and perfect. Because if you don't start treating special people like they're special from the beginning, you're in a hole. And if somebody's not special when you call them, if they're grunting and they're growling and they're just not interested and they just don't really want to work, fine. Stop talking to them. That's the qualifying aspect of sales. But give it your best and have a plan and use the enthusiasm and the orientation towards making people happy that lives in the best of sales. Once people come in, schedule them for interviews. Or once you talk to them, schedule for interviews and do it fast. In the sales cycle, the faster we are, provided we're adhering to a strong system, the better we're going to be. So the idea of, okay, hey, it took me a week to get to you, to talk, to first contact, and another week to get you in for an interview. That's 2 weeks. The best people are going to get jobs. There's a term that's quite popular that says hire slow, fire fast. No, I disagree. Virtual slapping for anybody that says that. I adhere to hire fast, fire fast, fire faster. So on that regard, you can be fast and systematic. You can be fast and thorough. If you want to meet their wife or you want to have dinner with them or if you want them to interview 18 executives, whatever your process is, you can do it fast by being organized and committed to being fast. It doesn't have to take weeks and weeks and weeks to determine if you've got the right candidate. Build the system, make it work, calibrate your system, and you'll be able to get great people in 2 days with the same process that might take 2 months. Once they're in for the interview, again, you're selling. Now, this is a good time to talk about what sales is and what sales isn't. Many people think, okay, sales it's high pressure, lie, do anything, be a slickster. I guess people sell like that. There's a reason that stereotype exists, but clearly that doesn't work here because if you lie to get somebody in that's fantastic, they're going to figure it out in about their first day, and they're going to say, well, you lied to me, broken trust, and they'll leave pretty quickly as well. So the idea that what sales really is here is it's being our absolute best. Jim Rohn says, this is probably another paraphrase, But the best people make the best salespeople. So the idea of being a great listener, being empathetic, being able to control your tonality, being passionate, being able to make people feel good. These are the attributes when I talk about recruit like you sell, not grinding in your pressure. And then there's a flip side of sales that's crucial for success. And this is the one that's harder for most people to get to. And that's the idea that the one thing that distinguishes sales from any other business activity is there's rejection. The better we recover from disappointment, the more effective we'll be. So the idea is that we're going to find some fantastic candidates. They're going to be glowing. They're going to be radiant. They're going to have every possible attribute. And they're going to decide not to work for you. And it might be a silly reason. They might decide to, they might decide to, I'm going to go hike the Appalachian Trail, which isn't silly. I'm just going to do something else. You're going to get heartbreak. That's the nature of sales, that not all activity is logical. We don't always get what we want. The better we accept the defects of the process, the fact that not everybody does what we want them to do, not everybody's logical, and we're going to get disappointed. That's the process that really makes salespeople great. It takes a little time, but know that when they reject, it's not you, almost always. And even if it is, it's okay. It's not your job. I don't know anybody that's perfect. I don't know anybody that's universally liked. So the better we are at dealing with the unpredictability of human behavior and recovering from that, the better we'll be. We have a client that we're working with to improve. They get calls and go, this isn't the right job for me. And they've got kind of harsh tonalities. Oh, I didn't know if it was this. Well, we're gonna tweak our ads to improve that process. But it's okay if people discover that you're not the right thing for them. And unfortunately, some people express themselves in adamant manner. So if they go, hey, this is a lousy job, I don't want any part of it. It's okay. It's okay. What you're looking for are great people. And in order to get there, you're going to have to work with people that aren't. It's just natural with the qualification process. And in that regard, too, when you're qualifying people, we're going to be nice. I don't know how many of you guys are Roadhouse fans. Patrick Swayze? I am. And Patrick Swayze says it well. I don't even think I'm going to paraphrase him. Be nice until it's time not to be nice. And that doesn't mean mean, but let's treat everybody like they're going to make an amazing difference into our life until they've proven that they can't. In that case, hey, end the conversation. Invite them to go do something else. So with that mindset, now let's get into the interviewing process. Okay, so they come in. A typical interview process, it's run by HR, which that's about as far away from sales as you can get as HR. Typical HR, and I know it's evolving, but typical HR kind of reminds me of the school nurse where you cut your finger and you get a little Bactine and a Band-Aid. It's kind of an antiseptic compliant place. Make the interview special. Don't make it just a place of compliance and rigidity. So, asking basic questions. We want to find out if people are special. So we have techniques to determine whether they're special or not. Know what you're looking for. So what we believe from an attitude standpoint, there's three core attributes. We're looking for people that want to always be better. We're looking for people that want to make others better, and we're looking for people that want to make the company better. Pretty simple, but not very universal. And we've designed questions to help determine if that's occurring. So, for instance, just a nice, simple, easy one. What are you reading? I ask that question a lot. What are you reading? And not everybody's read stuff, I understand, but for people involved in continuous improvement, are always looking to get better, reading is one of the most prominent ways to do so. So when I get an answer, well, I read magazines and a little bit of here and a little bit there. Okay, again, you're not bad, you're anything else, but you're probably not committed to getting better. So look for the answer. And when they give you the right answer, that's fantastic. They're not always going to give you the right answer. That doesn't mean they're devoid of merit. Devoid of merit, the other side of it is, I don't read, I don't care, I'm good enough, I'm not going to get any better. Okay, that's easy. In the qualification process, send those people home. Ideally, again, we're looking for the perfect candidate. They rarely exist. There's the middle ground, and this is another part about sales that's very powerful, is that when we reject people politely, 9 out of 10 times they'll re-engage, they'll get better. So for instance, if we say, there's so much to enjoy from meeting you, I like your energy, I like your background, but based on everything we asked you, you're not very committed to improve, and you don't have any great examples of what you've done to help other people in the business world. So we're going to pass. But I want to let you know that if you're interested, read this book or take your own path. And if you want to come back and you decide this is an exciting way to be, that you want to work with great people and you want to be part of a spectacular team, and you want to get that incredible benefit of being surrounded by those, but you can only do that if you're willing to contribute yourself. Call me back. And so the idea of they may be done. Who knows how many people are going to come back after being rejected? But it's better than completely throwing them away. Another key part of sales, and this is how it relates to the recruiting process, is we always want to know where we stand. So when people come in, I'll tell them early on, hey, anywhere along the way, if you decide this isn't a good job for you, just let me know. Don't worry about hurting my feelings. It might hurt for a second, but it'll be better that we know. So if you just don't like what we have to say, let me know. We'll stop. And if there's anywhere during the interview where I determine you're not the right candidate for us, is it all right if I tell you and we'll just end the interview? And again, we'll try to do it as politely as possible. Shake hands, part on good terms. But the idea is time is precious. Let's do that. By doing that, I always want to know where we stand. And then I'm going to say at the end of the interview, if we don't stop it for any reason, I want to discuss the next steps. And the next steps are, one of us isn't interested, or here's how we're going to move forward. Are you comfortable with that? And by always knowing where we stand, it's crucial for us to understand how we're moving forward and how we're making progress with our prospects. So the idea that it's happened for years and years and years is you go to an interview and you get a surprise days, weeks later is just doesn't make any sense to me, and it's contrary to sales values. Now, in continuing with the theme of recruit like you sell, if you think about your environment, think about your business's culture as your product, and if you're not constantly working on your product development, you're not going to have a great product. Your competition is going to outcompete you. Think about the same thing with your culture. The better your culture, the better your performance environment. In general, the better you treat people, the more you're going to get. The more money, the more prosperity. And again, sorry to be such a hippie, the more happiness you're going to get. We're going to work to always be looking to make your company better, always be looking to make your environment better. We're going to build that culture, look for great things to happen. One of the things that I'll do in that regard in the hiring process on an ongoing basis is you kind of state this. Our mission, our number one strategic initiative is to build a high performance team. And we need to make this the best place to work ever in order to have that. So if it gets to the point where you're not that into what you're doing and you're not walking the path, and do I have permission to fire you? And we won't be hasty. We'll try to drag you back onto the path, but we have to protect our culture. We have to protect the happiness. So do we have permission to do so? And by doing that, you're able to clear out the people. It's a gift. It's the best gift we could give employees, is to have them working side by side with other people that share their values, that are passionate and care and want to be great people. The idea of cutthroat and cheating and jumping in line, I suppose it's necessary in certain places, but we live in a land of abundance, and there should always be enough space for people to elevate, and they should always be able to win by making each other better rather than bringing each other down.
Thank you for listening to Recruit Like You Sell with Bart Dunne. If you'd like to keep the business world propelling forward with high-achieving employees, please support the show by rating us on your favorite podcast player. Engage with us. If you have ideas or questions, send an email to foxden@recruitlikeyouSell.com or visit our Foxden page at www.recruitlikeyouSell.com. We'd love to talk about your question on the show. This has been a T-Door production. Music by DJ Freedom.